In this episode, we will understand how to set up hapijs with Nodemon for NodeJS API development. So let's start. To begin setting up hapijs with Nodemon for rapid application development, we will first create a Node.js project by calling the npm init command. We will go with defaults for now. Now that we have package.json created, next we will install the needed dependencies. In this case, it will be hapijs and Nodemon. Nodemon will be installed as a dev dependency. Now, if you look at package.json, we have Hapi as a dependency and Nodemon as a dev dependency. Next, we will configure Nodemon. For that, we will first create a Node1 configuration file, which will be a nodemon.json. In this, we will define what files and directories and extensions needs to be watched by Nodemon. The first step will be to define the folder which Nodemon needs to watch. In this case, it will be the current directory. Next, we will define the command that needs to be executed by Nodemon when a file change is detected. And the next step will be to define the extensions that Nodemon needs to watch for. With this in place, we will then define a script in package.json for running the application using Nodemon. With this in place, next we will create a file called server.js, which will contain our actual logic for starting the server. Here, first we will import hapijs. Next, we will create a server using Hapi. We will define the configuration attributes. In this case, we will define the port on which the server needs to listen on and also the host. We will define it as localhost. Next, we will create a function for starting the server. We'll also log a message indicating that the server has started. Now let's start the server and see if everything is fine. We have not called this function, so server has not yet started. Now let's call this, and as we see here, the server has started listening on port 8081. If we make any changes here, we see that Nodemon automatically picks up the changes and restarts the server. Next, we will just define a get call, which will be a health API check to see if API calls are functioning or not. For that, we will call server.root, within which we will define a method, which will be a get method. Next will be the path, which will be a health check. And we'll also define a handler, which will be a function which takes a request object as a argument, and the other object is a happy toolkit, response toolkit, which contains many functions related to response. We will also define a response body. And we will return this response object, health response object, as part of get call on the path /health. Let's verify if this is functioning. As we see, we are getting a response with the status code as 200 and message as OK, which is what we had configured in the application. If this episode was helpful, please like, share and subscribe, and let us know if you would like to watch any specific topics which we can create episodes on. Thank you.
At Spinsage, we provide digital consultancy services including web and mobile app development. For inquiries, please visit spinsage.com.